There is large amounts of evidence that show that drinking alcohol is bad for the body, or at least way worse than people thought it was. However, I also know that most people like to drink alcohol because it's tasty or because they associate it with doing fun things. The question, however, is whether you should drink alcohol if you already have blood sugar problems or type 2 diabetes. That's why it's good to delve into this subject a bit more. I'm Ali from Illness Free Life, and in this video you'll learn what alcohol does to your body, 5 potential risks of drinking alcohol if you have high blood sugar or type 2 diabetes, and if you decide to drink alcohol after watching this video, what 3 things you could do to minimize the impact of the alcohol on your health and blood sugar. Now, let's be honest, most people know that alcohol is bad for their body and for their health. There is a reason why you, for example, use alcohol to disinfect countertops or other things. Alcohol kills living organisms, which is good when it comes to bacteria and viruses, but unfortunately this also means that it kills human bodily cells, because again, alcohol kills living organisms and it doesn't discriminate between the bad ones and the good ones. So yes, it kills bacteria and viruses, but also your bodily cells. And this unfortunately means that alcohol is bad for you. If you want a straight up answer to the question, is it okay to drink alcohol as a diabetic, then the answer is no. It's not even good to drink it as a healthy person because alcohol destroys things and has 0 health benefits. But when it comes to blood sugar problems and type 2 diabetes, there are extra drawbacks to drinking alcohol if you're diabetic. Risk number 1, alcohol can disrupt diabetic medication. Now, most people don't know this, but your body sees the medication you use as a diabetic most often than not as a poison or as a danger. And it will start to detox it as soon as you take it via your liver. However, if you also drink alcohol, then you just ingested 2 potential toxins for the body. 1, the alcohol, and 2, the medication. And when you ingest 2 things that are potentially dangerous for your body will have to make a choice, or your liver will have to make a choice between which of the 2 to detox a bit more or detoxify a bit more. This can create some problems in the body, or at least potential risks in the body. If your liver decides that the alcohol is more dangerous than the medication you're using, it will mean that it will focus on the alcohol and detoxify the alcohol as much as it can. The problem with this, however, is that medication levels can build up because your body is not detoxifying those medications. And if medication levels increase, then the effects of those medications will also increase and the side effects will also increase. When it comes to blood sugar medication, this means that blood sugar medication can build up in your bloodstream and thus lower your blood sugar levels more than you expect, which of course can give you low blood sugar levels, which can be dangerous. The reverse is also true. If your body decides that the medication you're using is more poisonous than the alcohol, then it will start detoxifying the medication. However, this means that alcohol levels will build up in your body because your liver is not doing anything to those toxins. The result of this, of course, is a buildup of alcohol in your blood, which will make you more drunk than you might expect or you're used to, which of course can bring a lot of dangerous things with it, because being drunk is in general a very unhealthy and dangerous thing to be. Now, these are just the short-term effects alcohol has on the liver. There is also a long-term effect alcohol can have on the liver when it comes to metabolizing medication, and this is by either upregulating or downregulating your cytochrome P450 system. This is a system in the liver which detoxifies things you ingest, or at least it metabolizes things you ingest. And alcohol can cause it to metabolize things faster or less fast. If it starts metabolizing your medication faster, then your medication might not be as effective as you expect it to be, because it will be broken down faster than usual, and levels of it in your blood will drop faster than usual, giving you less effect of that medication. The reverse is also true. It could also slow down the metabolization of a certain medication, causing it to build up in your blood level-wise, and thus have a stronger effect on your blood sugar, for example, and increasing the risk of experiencing side effects, because the risk of experiencing a side effect increase with the amount of medication you have in your body. Risk number 2, you could get high blood sugar. A lot of alcoholic drinks contain high amounts of sugars and carbohydrates, even if you don't really taste them. And of course, if you ingest carbohydrates and sugars, these will end up in your bloodstream. The risk with drinking carbohydrates and sugars is that you can drink a lot of them in short amount of time. And this means that you will get a lot of sugars and carbohydrates in your bloodstream in short amount of time, creating a blood sugar spike. And unfortunately, a lot of alcoholic drinks contain sugars and carbohydrates, from beer to mixed drinks to anything really that kinda tastes sweet or is made from fruits or grains. If you already have high blood sugar or type 2 diabetes, then you're not waiting for more sugars and carbohydrates in your bloodstream, let alone from an unhealthy, dietary, fiberless source. So yes, drinking alcohol can increase your blood sugar even more than it already is. Risk number 3, it could cause low blood sugar levels. Now, paradoxically, drinking alcohol in the short term could also lower your blood sugar levels. And how this works is a bit complicated, but what you need to know is this, and this is just a very simplified way of telling it to you. When you drink a sugar-rich or carbohydrate-rich alcoholic drink, two things enter your body: the alcohol and the sugars and carbohydrates. And at that point, your liver has to decide, am I going to detoxify the alcohol, which is a poison, or am I going to metabolize the sugars and carbohydrates? And of course, because alcohol is a poison and dangerous to your body, your liver will fully focus on the alcohol. This stops or slows down your sugar and carbohydrate metabolism. But because your body in the meantime will use up sugars and carbohydrates that are in your bloodstream, your blood sugar levels will actually start dropping, until of course your body is done processing the alcohol you're drinking. Of course, you could imagine that this can create low blood sugar levels. Again, because your liver is caught up in detoxifying the alcohol, that it really forgets about the sugars and carbohydrates in your body. And because your body constantly uses up sugars and carbohydrates from the bloodstream, these levels slowly drop, which in theory could cause low blood sugar levels in the short run. In the long run, alcohol will almost always only create high blood sugar levels, but in the short term, it could drop your blood sugar levels below a desired level. Risk 4, alcohol will disrupt your sleep. Now, most people know that you could use alcohol as a nightcap before you sleep. It helps people sleep better, they think. However, this is not really the case. Although alcohol can decrease the time you need to fall into sleep, which most people think is good, it actually lowers the quality of the sleep you get. And the net result of this is actually worse sleep quality. Yes, you might have slept for longer, but the depth of that sleep is way more shallow, causing you overall to be less energized than somebody who hadn't drunk the alcohol, maybe took a bit more time to fall to sleep, but slept way deeper. And there are also other disadvantages when it comes to sleep and alcohol. Alcohol, for example, inhibits the production or release of ADH, which is short for antidiuretic hormone. This hormone is also known as vasopressin. And this hormone, as the name says, helps us concentrate our urine, thus urinating less often, but when we urinate, it's more concentrated. Now, most people who drink alcohol know that when you start drinking alcohol, you will need to visit the toilet more often. This is not just because of the liquids in the alcohol you're drinking, but because alcohol inhibits the release of this hormone ADH, thus concentrating our urine less and making us thus go to the toilet more often. Now, if this happens at night because you were drinking before you slept, it will mean that you have to get out of bed to go to the toilet, which will disrupt your sleep even more. And people who already have high blood sugar levels and type 2 diabetes already go to the toilet more often, because one of the things your body does when it registers high blood sugar levels is make you urinate more often to release some of that excess sugar in the blood. And alcohol increases the chance of you snoring or experiencing sleep apnea through things that also worsen your sleep quality. And if you slept bad, you often have elevated cortisol levels the next day, which is a stress hormone that lowers our insulin sensitivity and thus increases our blood sugar levels and risk of getting type 2 diabetes. All in all, alcohol and sleep don't mix well. Quick, before we continue, do you like this video and want to receive more of these videos? Don't forget to give us a like and subscribe for free to this YouTube channel. That way, you'll never miss a video we publish, and you'll help us reach more people to improve their blood sugar and type 2 diabetes. And now, back to the video. Risk number 5, alcohol will worsen your diabetes. As you just heard, there are several ways alcohol worsens your blood sugar problems and type 2 diabetes. But one of the most important is that alcohol itself, the destructive force in alcoholic drinks, will lower your insulin sensitivity, or better said, will increase your insulin resistance. And if there's something people with high blood sugar and type 2 diabetes don't want, is increased insulin resistance, because they already suffer from insulin resistance and thus from high blood sugar levels and type 2 diabetes. And doing something or drinking something that worsens your insulin resistance will only worsen your blood sugar levels and type 2 diabetes. So not only will alcohol increase blood sugar levels via all kinds of ways, it will also increase the chance of you getting the actual diagnosis of type 2 diabetes because you have high insulin resistance, which is of course something you don't want if you already have blood sugar problems or are on the verge of getting the diagnosis officially. And like I said, there is a lot of research that shows that drinking alcohol is bad for the body. Although we used to think that drinking small amounts of alcohol is okay, or sometimes even healthy, because there were signs that it might increase our insulin sensitivity. Now we know that every drop we drink is one drop too many. And it means that if you aim for a healthy life, if you aim for an optimal life, then drinking no alcohol is the best way to go, purely from a health perspective. Now, unfortunately, I also know that most people don't want to abide by this rule and don't want to live as so-called saints. And I know they seek ways to still drink alcohol without damaging their body too much. Although I'm not a proponent of this way of thinking, I can understand that you want to drink alcohol. Maybe because you find it tasty, maybe because you associate it with doing fun things like birthdays or parties or going on vacation. So I'll give you some tips on how to minimize the damage of drinking alcohol to the body. But understand, alcohol will never be healthy, will never have any benefit to your body. The only thing you could do is at least minimize the damage it does to your body. Tip 1, choose the least damaging alcoholic drink. Now, there are a lot of alcoholic drinks to choose from, and unfortunately, a lot of them contain sugars and carbohydrates. However, there are some things you could choose that either contain no or little amounts of sugars and carbohydrates. When it comes to drinking alcohol, the best choices, so to say, are strong liquor like vodka or gin, dry white wines, dry red wines. Those are the 3 best things to choose. Mixed drinks are bad, sweet wines are bad, and unfortunately, beer is also bad. Regular beer contains around 5% sugars and carbohydrates per unit of weight, and alcohol-free beer, most people think that's better because it contains no alcohol, often contains double the amount of sugars and carbohydrates than regular beer. So yes, it might not contain alcohol, which is good, but it contains twice as much sugars and carbohydrates, which is bad. So if you want to choose an alcoholic drink to drink, stick to strong liquors, dry white wine, and dry red wine. Tip 2, combine the drinking with a meal. Look, alcoholic drinks can contain sugars, can contain carbohydrates, and definitely contain alcohol. Three things that are far from healthy and ideal for your body, especially if you already have blood sugar problems or type 2 diabetes. Now, one of the ways to make it healthier is by combining the drinking with a healthy meal, especially if that meal is rich in protein, healthy fats, and healthy dietary fibers, because these three will lower the amount of sugars, carbohydrates, and alcohol you absorb from that meal, which is good, and they will lower the rate with which you do this, which is also good. Now, of course, don't try to trick the system by drinking 10 drinks and combining it with a meal, because if you drink 10 drinks, then there is no meal that could ever compensate for that amount of drinking. Use common sense when it comes to the amount of drinks you have with a meal, and make the meal as healthy, as protein-rich, as fat-rich, and as dietary fiber-rich as you can, to slow down the amount of alcohol you absorb and the rate with which your body will do this. Tip 3, drink the right amount at the right time. Now, like I said in the previous tip, use common sense when it comes to drinking amounts and alcohol. Our tip, or at least the guidelines we give people, is don't drink more than 2 or 3 glasses a day, and keep it below 5 glasses a week. So this means if you want to drink today, you shouldn't drink more than 2 or 3 glasses. But overall, over a week's period of time, it shouldn't be more than 5 glasses. So this doesn't mean you could drink 2 or 3 a day for a whole week straight, because then you've exceeded the weekly amount. And this also doesn't mean you could drink 5 glasses a day, which is the weekly amount, because you've then exceeded the daily amount. So stick to 2 or 3 glasses a day, preferably 2, and never exceed the 5 glasses a week limit. And when it comes to the time of drinking, try to stop drinking at least 3 hours before you sleep, because then your body still has time to detoxify the alcohol, and you could still drink a bit of water to combat the dehydration the alcohol causes from the frequent urination, and you minimize the chance of getting low blood sugar levels in your sleep. Now, a rough guideline is that your liver is able to detoxify around 7 grams of alcohol per hour, and the average alcoholic drink contains around 10 grams. So your body will need around 1.5 hours to detoxify 1 drink. And like I said, if you keep it at 2 drinks a day, then your body will need around 3 hours to detoxify them, which is also the reason we tell you to stop drinking at least 3 hours before you sleep. That's it for this video about drinking alcohol, blood sugar problems, and type 2 diabetes. If you want to read up on this subject a bit more, there's a link to a free article about this subject in the description of this video. And if you're on our website anyway, don't forget to subscribe to our Diabetes Free Secret. This is a small free giveaway we have in which we teach you what the main causes of high blood sugar problems and type 2 diabetes are, and what you can do to prevent, improve, and fully reverse these problems with a healthy lifestyle. If you have any questions about this subject, please leave a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next video.